Welcome to the Ideal Investor Show. Join us on the journey to financial success. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Ideal Investor Show. And today's title is A New Way of Fractional Ownership. And you know that I've spoken about fractional ownership in residential real estate a couple of times, and I have mentioned that we are using Lofty for that, even though I have to admit it's not always a great investment, but it's an interesting way to park your reserve money and have it liquid, even though it's parked in real estate. So I came across today an opportunity, and I'm not saying, by the way, just to make sure this is not investing or tax advice or anything like that. I just want you to be aware that there are more and more creative, innovative ways people think about how could we invest or get regular people to invest in residential real estate. And so the founder of Zillow has come up together with another partner with a new way of investing in real estate. And one of the things that is associated with this story that I'm going to describe to you today in this episode is that when he asked or has been asked in like TV interviews and podcasts and so forth, what one of the things is that he is regretting about the way the whole thing with Zillow has basically evolved. He has many times said that he felt that the process of Zillow becoming really basically the preeminent platform for people to look and find real estate was great and very successful. And then ultimately, as the company got bigger and bigger, they went for the initial public offering, basically put the company on the stock market so that the public could buy shares in Zillow. But the way it was done was basically the traditional way. And what that means, the traditional way, is that you find an investment bank that is willing to take the company onto the stock market. And the way this is typically operated is that the investment bank is doing all the preparation and all the administrative stuff, but then also before the actual day when the stocks become available to the public, they also already secure a whole bunch of investors who indicate that they are willing to buy the stocks as soon as they are available. And so what oftentimes happens is, and this happened with Zillow as well, the date gets announced when the stock will actually be publicly available. And then on the day the stock market opens, in the first few seconds, all these organizations have already prepared their buy orders and they get executed right away. Like if the stock market opens at 9:30 Eastern time in the morning, at 9:35, all these already pre-prepared purchases have been executed. And what that obviously does is, let's say the price of the stock is $50 per share right when it starts. Within a few minutes, the share price is shooting up because there's so much demand, so many sales happening. And so by the time typically the regular people get to buy any shares, they're already, instead of $50, the initial offering price, they're 60, 80, 100 or more. Right. And then some people still buy because they believe in the long time ability of the company. And some people just wait a few months and see if the stock price is settling down and get in then. So that founder of Zillow, he said what he wish he could have been able to do at the time was to make stocks available while Zillow as a company was still private. And so this article that I came across is that he now has started a new company called Pacasco. And that's a company that is basically playing in the international vacation home market, especially for luxury vacation homes. And they have raised quite a bit of money already to build the company. And why they're doing it, or what the idea behind it is, that there are fabulous properties that oftentimes sit empty most of the year because the owners have multiple properties as investments and they don't really use their property. And when they do, They use it with a whole staff. They bring their own cooks and maids and babysitters and all that. So they are basically using these luxury properties that they own, similar to like you and I would use an Airbnb or a VRBO property. So this company is basically offering these owners to rent out their luxury property to people for vacations, and these are not the regular little apartments or anything like that. Now, if you were to try to do this on your own, you would ever want to do like a wedding or some larger event or go with a group into a property like that, it could be way too expensive. So this company, Pacasco, if I understand it correctly, allows people to, in a way, buy these luxury properties and then rent them out, but buy them together, not one person buying one, but you can build like 2 or 3 or smaller groups of owners who then buy these luxury properties and rent them out like vacation homes. Now, the thing why I'm bringing it to your attention is, number one, because I think it's an interesting, innovative idea, and I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, if it's going to be successful. But the other thing is that because of that backstory about Zillow, the founder that also founded Zillow decided that he wants to make the stock available before the company goes onto the stock exchange. So if any one of you is interested to take a closer look, like I said, the company is called Pacasco, and they are currently offering stock investments before the IPO, and you can get in for slightly more than $1,000. So if you want to do like a new company pre-IPO investment and you want to risk $1,000 in a residential real estate play, because all we do typically has to do with residential real estate, then this would be an opportunity. You can just go on the Pacasco website and you see where you can basically purchase a few shares for $1,000 and be part of that company and own that company and see if it keeps growing and if it ultimately goes onto the stock exchange. And if it does, and if it is successful, then you have a great chance to get a lot out of your $1,000 investment. So I wanted you to be aware that this is happening, luxury ownership, because even if you don't buy the stock, you can keep an eye on it. And if you like with other people to own one of those international luxury homes for vacation rental, then that would be another thing to play with this Pacasco offering. So I hope that was educational and informative for you. Be well and stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.